Well, I want to start out by just congratulating every single one of you for wanting to learn more, for ultimately doing actions that would require your mind and your body to connect in the healing process. And we're going to talk tonight about how do we reduce some of the nervous system tension in our bodies and do that in an easy and daily way. And we're lucky tonight. I'm going to introduce Lisa Wood right now. She should be on your screen. Her mic is undone. Say hello, Lisa.
Hello.
She is going to be really our resident expert on the fourth Tuesday of most months that either we'll be here together or she might be here by herself. She is a licensed counselor. She has a degree in art therapy, and really her life experience is able to be expressed and shown to teach all of us all about these think well processes. So we always will have basically three main goals, and just like to kind of tell these things. First is hopefully understand the science of meditation in simple terms. You know, what is a way to be mindful, really? How do we quiet our mind and our body? We're going to talk about the science. We're going to give you some simple techniques. We'll go through a small exercise tonight. And ultimately, we hope that you take that next step in creating yourself a plan for at least the next 7 days that you're going to try to add different things to your daily routine that will help you to become more mindful. Let's start off with the fact that I'm a chiropractor and I'm talking about meditation. As a chiropractor, I am able to read how your day-to-day life is affecting your body's function. I can use that with my hands, really simply. The vertebrae of your spine are like a fuse box, and if a lot of those breakers are tripped, I know that your body's been overwhelmed by stressors. They could be mental, they could be physical. All those things affect us, and we want to make sure that you know the best way to become less, needed on me, and really more dependent upon your knowledge and your trust of your own body, because only you know your body best. So let's talk a little more about the science. Why is meditation even worth your attention? Number one is that the research continues to show us that our nervous systems are overstimulated. The faster our lives go, the more technology there is, the more need that we think we have to accomplish more in a shorter amount of time is going to overstimulate our nervous system. Acute stress can happen, but chronic stress is really the big challenge here. And in chronic stress means that our nervous system is ramped up to a point where we start to increase tension in our body, we increase inflammation, we increase pain. There is a direct connection between your muscle tension and your nervous system, and we can read that. How can we get your brain to feel that it's on vacation even if you do need to go to work? That's what meditation is attempting to do in small ways. So a simple and accessible tool with very powerful effects. Now, the BrainTap system, we'll talk a little bit about BrainTap, but the developer of BrainTap says the powerful pharmacy on the planet is in your brain. You don't need outside chemicals. You can produce all the chemicals you need to balance your life, and we can get your brain to get on board with rest and relaxation, with producing the right chemicals needed to keep you in balance. So meditation is you tap into your built-in pharmacy. Meditation is a practice of focused awareness. Very simply, focused awareness. It's a tool to calm and reset the nervous system. It's not about emptying the mind. We'll talk about some of these myths a little bit, but it's not just about emptying the mind. That really is probably hard to do for anyone. It doesn't require silence or robes or chanting. It's not about just incense or hours of time. It's about focused awareness. Lisa, anything you think, would you add to just meditate, like what it is? Why is it talked about? Why is it such a buzzword?
Well, you mentioned about focused awareness. So if you look at meditation or mindfulness, which is sort of moment-to-moment meditation, the most important thing and the definition of mindfulness is a focused awareness in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So I think the focused awareness piece is very important, moment to moment.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be a good added word on the slide is non-judgmental, right?
It's being focused on your breath, more specifically, moment to moment, non-judgmentally. That's actually the definition of mindfulness, according to John Kabat-Zinn, who's the big guy on that.
The big guy. Actually, Lisa, I don't know if you want to kind of looking at this, the fight or flight versus the resting and digesting, kind of how does mindfulness bridge that gap a little bit?
So basically, our mind and body is going to either be internally focused, there's a fancy word for that, interoception, or exteroception. We're focused on the outside or the inside. And the problem with fight or flight, when we have stress in our life or something happening, argument with our boss, whatever, traffic problems, we immediately have a reaction, our sympathetic nervous system is trying to keep us alive. and it immediately reacts with either anger or some kind of avoidance or some kind of movement, pumps up our cortisol very high, and now we're in a heightened state of acute stress. This parasympathetic system is the part of our system that is always trying to keep us in balance and regulated and calmed down. It's pretty much located directly behind your forehead. Some people call that your third eye, but it's where your prefrontal cortex is. And that's the part of us that's trying to calm down our fight or flight by saying, no, really, just ignore that guy in the traffic, and your boss's opinion of you doesn't have to matter, and all the things that we logically do to calm it down. Now, meditation comes in and kind of facilitates our ability to process those either fight or flight and bring us back into a place of rest and digest. And that's where meditation is so important. And mindfulness, which is the moment-to-moment version of that we need to begin to implement, like Dr. Nate said.
I think we'll get into that, but maybe it's the mindfulness really that we want to teach about simplicity, because that can happen at any moment. With a little bit that you know about the BrainTap, we're kind of tapping in, but I just thought about this. Would you say that tools like that to try to kind of help change our frequency of our brain and really turn some of that off to almost exercise parts that you haven't would be something that could help people along with that?
Yes. So because we're talking about a meditation practice, it's got to be something that we put in day to day and implement. And BrainTap is awesome because you're basically going into what I call the interoceptive place, where you're blocking out the world. You're putting on the device that kind of gives you the bilateral stimulation of lights. And it's really blocking out all things of the world. And focusing on just this internal experience that we're having in our mind. And we need to renew our minds. That's, a spiritual concept of that, because otherwise today and yesterday and the day before, we're basically thinking the same 80,000 thoughts. And if you stop yourself, you'll realize, I just thought I was thinking the same thing yesterday. Why is this bothering me so much? Why do I keep perseverating on this same thought? It's because that's what chronic stress and fight and flight do for us. They make us repeat because our body's trying to save us and protect us. So I always say, thank you for sharing. You can thank your body for being so diligent, but you need to work on changing your thinking and focusing your mind differently in order to break out of some of those places.
I just don't want to remember that term. Did you say renew your brain? What did you say?
Renew your mind.
Renew your mind. I love that. When meditation's practiced with the science slide is how it gets renewed to some degree is reducing some of the cortisol stress hormones that are what you said will, especially with chronic stress, continues, which it would be a huge support chemically. And then there's gray matter of your brain that when those areas are increased, the gray matter, we increase our focus, we increase memory. So if we have a lot of trauma response, then basically if we can get into this routine, this exercise to grow gray matter, it's like growing muscle. And in doing so, that gray matter gives us the ability to maybe start to rewire or renew so that we can start to think past what our typical thoughts would be about that situation. If anyone has a ring, like the Oura Ring, the Whoop Band, your Apple Watch, basically any of the devices anymore that you would wear to check your biometrics, they probably all give you an HRV reading. Not to get into heart rate variability, but just know it's a resilience measurement. The less resilient you are, the lower your score will be. And everyone has different scores, and we will go into it, but if you can find out where you read it, and you may not be feeling the best, well then one thing to do would be to start watching that reading over some time with practices like meditation or mindfulness, or even getting adjusted, if you hadn't, for a while or something like that. Blood pressure and this heart rate variability are definitely improved when people meditate. Sleep, huge. When your body dreams, it's trying to kind of cleanse your subconscious. And if you're not dreaming, you're not getting deep enough sleep, you're not cleansing it. And that renewing, again, like Lisa just said, is not happening. It's only half renewed, or maybe a fourth or eighth renewed if we're not getting good sleep. So all these things connect together. Exercise and meditation could be your miracle drugs. And when that's not working, I would adjust you. That would kind of be what's happening. It's like when you need the reboot so that those things have their biggest effect, that's why we adjust you so your brain can utilize all those things. When you're misaligned, it affects just the way the body is processing things, to kind of remember. So what were some of the common hang-ups for most people is that I can't stop thinking. And we're going to talk about BrainTap in a moment. Basically, BrainTap is just one of the apps that you can get to try to help calm the brain a lot quicker than it would take if you just were doing it on your own. There's a lot of technology to it, but the people that have a challenge, there's a lot of people, there's people who hate BrainTap and people that love it. And the reason that people might hate it is because of what Lisa just said. If you're exteroceptive, when you're focused on everything outside of you, for something to try to force you basically it will force your brain to not be able to focus outside. It will make it so almost stressful that you would either just take it off or turn it off because you couldn't imagine ignoring all the things you want to think about. And those are the people that are so exteroceptive, it's such a tug of war that they go, I can't do it. But if you give it time, and you're probably finding the right programs and any kind of meditation, if you try to allow and submit and surrender to what your body's trying to tell you, which is hard, that's when really your meditation brings it levels up big time. But I think the inability to do that, to surrender to that, is the hang up. Your body is going to hold those stressors that you have physically. And if we can reset the program, that gives your body a chance to maybe let go and focus on something else with that energy. So without the adjustments, your body is still putting a lot of effort maybe into the stress and pain. Where meditation attempts to adjust what we call above atlas. Your atlas is the top bone of your spine. So if I ever adjust your neck really high, that's your atlas. We have a saying, we say that there's subluxations above that, meaning in your brain. And that's what meditation, you need adjustments to your brain. We all do. And if you're subluxated or misaligned, our brains, our thoughts are misaligned, that's what meditation's for. It's to start to realign and rewire our brains to better, more calmer mind. Again, calm spine is a calm mind, and a calm mind is a calm spine. It's a loop. It's called a feedback loop. Shifting your nervous system into healing, this is what helps regulate that. So I want to kind of go, how we get started a little bit. The BrainTap, I would say that if anyone is really interested in the BrainTap or Insight Timer apps, I would get them. We have a way to get you the BrainTap for a free trial, because they usually all require probably put a credit card down. You can do a free trial with it. So if you think you need something to kind of help rewire and listen to, it's amazing. So ask us for that info. I really want to get into Lisa maybe helping us through one of those little exercises if you'd be willing to maybe do that. Would you mind taking us through this little breath?
So, if you can right now, some of you might be busy walking around cooking dinner, but if not, take a second to stop and tune out everything. And if you're comfortable, you want to sit down, you want to keep your posture straight, but certainly relaxed. We're not going to be rigid in any way. Your hands can relax on your lap really quietly. You can close your eyes, or you can find a place in the room just to look gently. You're not staring, you're just looking somewhere or closing your eyes. Again, it's whatever's comfortable. And you're going to just take a second now to inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4 or 5. You can hold it for a bit, then exhale out. And sometimes you can count if that's comfortable or not. Inhale again. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale. And exhale. Take a second. Listen to what you hear in the room. What do you smell? Is your body relaxed? Shoulders are dropped? That's really a simple meditation right there. And you can do that throughout the day. Take a second, just quiet yourself and do that. And the more you do that, you're stacking a habit on top of another habit, on top of another habit, which is those moments that you take to yourself to meditate. And eventually your body is going to remember that, and it's going to begin to more automatically go into rest and relax instead of immediately into fight, flight, or freeze. Find what works and make sure you take these moments throughout the day to practice that mindfulness, that meditation, that quiet. Okay?
Beautiful. Lisa, thank you.